Announcements. We have in the gallery, honorable colleagues, students of Pan-African Comprehensive Secondary Schools from Akwa Ibom State. Round of applause for them. Thank you for coming. Kindly take your seats. Also in the gallery are students of Hilltop Nursery and Primary Schools from Pape, Abuja. Round of applause for them. Thank you for coming. Kindly take your seats. Further announcements, funeral arrangements of Mrs. Karina Ofongo. With a heavy heart, I write to inform the House of the demise of my wife, Miss Karina Ofongo, in the early hours of Monday, 8 October 2018, after a brief illness. The funeral arrangements scheduled as follows: service of songs, Monday, 22nd October 2018. Venue is Marife Event Center, Garden number 40, Patrick Yakowa Street, Katempe Extension, Diplomatic Enclave, Abuja, time 5 p.m. Interdenominational service, Saturday, 27th October 2018. Venue, Chief DSP Alamesia's Banquet Hall, Yanagua. Time is 11 a.m. Interment, Karina Henry Ofongo Multi-Purpose Event Center, Erepa Road, Yenuzi, Yanagua, Bayelsa State. Thank you all for your prayers and support. Announcer, Honorable Henry Daniel Ofongo. There appears to be some confusion in relation to the budget we approved yesterday for INEC and security agencies. I think it is important for us to clear the air on what was done here so that the misreporting can be cured. For the avoidance of doubt, this represents the true approval that was given by the House of Representatives yesterday. The INEX 2018 appropriation was 45,500 million. The 2018 environment as approved is 189 billion 7,272,393 naira only. So the total approval representing both the 2018 appropriation for INEC and 2018 environment, which we passed yesterday, total appropriation to INEC for 2018 will be 234,507,272,393 naira. Office of the National Security Advisor, their 2018 appropriation as it stands is 37,467,339,426 naira only. The 2018 environment passed yesterday is 9,481,500,000 naira. The summation of the two figures brings their total appropriation for 2018 to 46,948,839,426 naira. The DSS, Department of State Service, their 2018 appropriation as it stands now is 40,578,570,113 naira. 2018 environment approved yesterday for the DSS is 10,213,282,455 naira. The summation of the two figures bring their new total 2018 appropriation to 50,791,852,568 naira. NSCDC, that's the civil defense, 2018 appropriation is 79,260,507,756 naira. The total environment passed yesterday is 3,573,534,500 naira. The total appropriation, new total appropriation for the civil defense for 2018 appropriation brings the total to 82,834,042,256 naira. The Nigerian police force had an appropriation, 2018 appropriation of 324,220,893,212 naira only. The total environment approved for them yesterday is 27,341,317,433 naira, bringing their new total of total 2018 appropriation, that is environment plus the 2018 appropriation, to 351,562,210,645 naira. Last but not the least is the NIS, which got a total 2018 appropriation of 61,986,859,648 naira. The 2018 environment approved yesterday for the NIS is 2,628,143,320 naira. So the new total 2018 appropriation for NIS is 64,615,002,968 naira. So the 2018 appropriation for all these agencies was 589,170,155 naira. The 2018 total environment for INEC and all the security agencies approved yesterday was 245,245,050,100 naira only. That is the total environment passed yesterday. Now, if you do a summation of the 2018 appropriation, as I read earlier, plus the 2018 environment, that gives you a new total for all the agencies from INEC, ONSA, DSS, Civil Defense, Police, Immigration. Their new total 2018 appropriation is 831,259,220,255 naira. This is the total new appropriation for all these agencies, as against the figure of 831 billion reported by the dailies, by most newspapers, as the approval given. So the approval is in line with the request from the executive, except with little modification. The total approval was 242,245,050,100 naira only. And the sources of funding as detailed in the reports, which are directed the Committee on Appropriations to distribute to the media for accurate reportage. Honorable colleagues, any member who has a petition to present to the House may please rise to do so. Any petition? Well, in the absence of any petition, we'll take further announcements, before we move to the business of the day. This one is the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, University of Benin, postgraduate programs convocation ceremony for 2015-2016 and 2016-2017 academic sessions, Monday, 22nd October 2018. Honorable members are invited to the NILS Uniben Postgraduate Programs Convocation Ceremony for 2015-2016 and 2016-2017 academic sessions, scheduled to hold on Monday, 22nd October 2018. The activities slated for the ceremony include convocation lecture on the topic Parliamentary Institution Building in Africa, award of prizes to deserving graduates, and award of degrees to graduates. The convocation ceremony is scheduled to hold as follows. I've read that one again. Monday, I'll read it again. Monday, 22nd October 2018, time 10 a.m., Venue National Assembly, Arcade. All honorable members are kindly requested to attend. Announcer, DG Nils. Next items on the agenda is matters of urgent public importance. Honorable Nan, good luck, Opia, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable members. My name is Goodluck Opia. I represent Ohaje Buma, Ubuta and Uru West Federal Constituency of Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I come under order 8 to 4 on a matter of urgent public importance. Mr. Speaker, the matter has to do with the flooding in part of my federal constituency that has caused loss of lives and property. I consider this very important and urgent. I therefore move that the matter is so considered important to be taken now. I ask that the relevant sections of the House will be relaxed to enable us to take the motion now. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable colleagues, two motions on the floor. First is that we accept the issue as urgent. Any seconder to that motion? Honorable Francis.
Honorable Speaker, dear colleagues, my name is Francis Charles Uduyok.
member representing Korabas and Bahrain in the state of Bole, I rise to second the first limb of the motion that the matter be seen to be urgent. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Second motion that the rules be suspended to enable him take the matter now. Honorable Dr. Emeka Uja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Dr. Emeka Uja, representing the good people of Kano East and Kano West Federal Constituency. I'm from Enugu State. I rise to second the motion, the second limb of the motion as moved by Honorable Goodluck Opia, that we do set down our rules to enable him take this matter of urgent public importance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Goodluck, you can now move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable members. My name once again is Goodluck Opia. I represent Ohaji Boma Uguta and Uru West Federal Constituency. I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, the motion is on a call on the federal government and National Management Agency to intervene in the communities ravaged by recent flood in Ohajebema and Uguta local government areas of Imo State. The House is aware that most communities in Ohajebema and Uguta local government areas of Imo State fall within the coastal region of the Niger Delta. Further aware that the 2018 floods adversely affected these communities. Worried that the federal government flood forecast by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency erroneously excluded Imo as an affected area. Disturbed that many farmlands spanning into hundreds of hectares were submerged by the flood disaster. Many lives were lost, many families displaced, and consequently live internally displaced persons camps that are scattered all over the riverine communities of Uguta, Amesh, Abacheke, Ezios, Osubudo, Mahu, Abezu, Biabo, Opuoma, Akre, Enuibu, Osemoto, Bukofete, Kuru, Awara, Asa, Obile, Nkweshi, Akabo, Mbele, Aneze, Egwe, and the Egwo. Consigned that no government agency at the federal, state, or local government level has shown concern to the plight of the people of the affected areas, as has been the case with other affected states such as Anambra, Rivers, Bayelsa, Delta, Kogi, Benue, Niger, to mention but a few. Notes that if urgent measures are not taken to mitigate the impact of the flood, the victims will further suffer untold hardship, hunger, disease, and frustration. The House to resolve 1. To urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to urgently supply relief materials, which should include food items, drugs, clothing, beddings, and building materials to the affected communities in Ohajebema and Uguta local government areas of Imo State. 2. To urge the federal government assigned committee on 2018 flood disaster to immediately include Imo State in its program of activities with specific reference to the affected communities in Ohajebema and Uguta local government areas of Imo State, and to mandate the House Committee on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Seconder, Honorable Akinlaja, retired comrade.
Honorable Speaker, my name Honorable Comrade Akinlaja Joseph. I represent Ondo East Ondo West Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
This is a motion bordering on disaster and in line with the provisions of our relevant rules. I'll put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.
Honorable Madam
Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 3 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Environmental Impact Assessment Bill 2018, first reading. National Center for Stroke Management Bill 2018, first reading. First Aid Bill 2018, first reading.
Honorable members, the second business of the day is presentation of report of the committees on petroleum resources, downstream, and labor, employment and productivity, and the need to avert the looming nationwide industrial action by oil workers. Standing in the name of Honorable Akinlaja Iranola Joseph, honorable members will recall the matters referred to the committees on Thursday, 7th June 2018. The report is ready for presentation. I now call on Honorable Akinlaja to present it.
Rise, Honorable Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues. My name, Honorable Comrade Joseph Inaola Akinlaja. I stand to move the motion that the House do receive the report of the committees on petroleum resources downstream and labor, employment and productivity on the need to avert the looming nationwide industrial action by oil workers. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Dambara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Namram Abakar Nuhu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman from the municipality in the whole of the Green Chambers. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise to support the motion moved that the report be received by the committees of petroleum downstream and labor and productivity, as presented by my brother. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Akinlaja, please proceed and lay the report. First order of the day, honorable colleagues, consolidation of 3 bills. Honorable members may wish to know the bills on the same subject matter. I now invite the Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, to move that bills be now consolidated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the good people of Buruku.
my dear colleagues, I'm from Plenary State. I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Auditors of Nigeria for effective regulation, registration of members, and the determination of what knowledge and skills a practitioner is required to attain in order to qualify to practice as a forensic and investigative auditor and for related matters. A bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investment Auditors in Nigeria and for the registration and regulations of membership and for related matters. And a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Auditors in Nigeria for registration and regulation of membership and for related matters be consolidated as one bill. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I so move.
Seconder, Honorable Moriki.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Abubakar Hussaini Moriki. I am from Zamfara State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business for the consolidation of these three bills listed on the order paper. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against it, say nay. Ayes have it. Committee on Rules and Business, please schedule a date for the commencement of debate on the general principles of the bill. The second order of the day, honorable colleagues, commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for the management, administration, operation, regulation, and supervision of payment, clearing, and settlement systems in Nigeria, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Jones Chukwudi Onyerere. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 15 June 2017. I now invite Honorable Jones to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, I rise to propose for a bill for an act to provide for the management, administration, operation, regulation, and supervision of payment, clearing, and settlement systems in Nigeria, and for related matters, HB 1065. I so move.
Honorable Obaga Sylvester.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Sylvester Obaga. I represent Abakaliki Zifra constituency from Ebonyi State. I stand to second the motion that the bill as proposed by Honorable Onyeri be read a second time. I so second.
Honorable Onyerere, please lead the debate.
Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, Honorable Jones Chukwudi Onyerere, representing the largest federal constituency in the country, Nkwere Isu, Wangelenjaba Federal Constituency, and by God's grace, Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, the next senator representing Imo West Senatorial District. Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, this is a very simple bill which seeks to codify the operations and management of payment systems in Nigeria. The purpose, Mr. Speaker, of this bill, which is the National Payment Systems Management Bill, include ensuring nationally utilized and internationally recognized payment system, which encompasses the total payment process from issuance of instructions to final settlement. It also enables transacting parties to exchange values and to conduct business transactions efficiently. Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, this bill seeks to create a legal, institutional, and regulatory framework that will ensure a transparent, effective, and efficient management, administration, and operation of payments, clearing, and settlement systems in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, it will also ensure the safety and settlement in payment, clearing and settlement systems. It will also institutionalize best practices in payment system management in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, this bill basically consists of 35 sections. Sections 2 and 8 of the bill to 8 of the bill simply seeks to give authority to the apex regulator in authorizing the payment systems operators in Nigeria. Sections 9 to 13 simply dwells on payment, settlement and third-party payment, clearing, settlement systems and insolvency. Sections 14 to 21 of the bill, Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, reels out the powers of the apex regulator in supervising the operations of the payment system participants. Sections 22 to 26 of the bill, Mr. Speaker, simply deals and provides for the indemnity of relevant officials for their acts and omissions done in the discharge of their duties pursuant to the provisions of this Act. Finally, sections 27 and 29 essentially deals with offences and penalties thereto. Mr. Speaker, this bill is justified for a very simple reason due to the inadequacy of the current legal and regulatory framework for payment systems in Nigeria. Presently, Mr. Speaker, my dear honorable colleagues, there exists no special legislation for payment systems in Nigeria. Therefore, there is the need to fill the lacuna in the regulatory framework. I would therefore urge my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, to kindly support this bill and allow it to pass for the second reading. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Whip. Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Pali Iriase. I represent Onwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, this is a bill that is long overdue. The Nigerian payment clearing and settlement system has from time been under the purview of the CBN, who from time to time issues guidelines, and we know the extent of the right legislation. Nothing is better than a legislative framework to guide the practice of the settlement system. And that is why I'm commending the sponsor of this bill for coming at this point in time. Posterity will salute us if it is during our time that the payment clearing and settlement system received this kind of regulatory framework enacted. Mr. Speaker, Nigeria is fighting hard to bring inclusiveness into our financial system. We want to ensure that there is financial inclusion. We want to encourage as many of our population to get involved in the banking system. But one thing that has always made people, not to trust the system is what this bill seeks to address. The settlement system must be transparent enough such that those who are not aware that banking is not only a place where they keep their money, but where they can even derive value in addition to safety of their money, they will be encouraged, to put their money in the bank rather than under their pillows. This is precisely why it is very important at this point to urge all members
of this 8th Assembly to rise up in support of this act in order that the legislative framework will be put in place to help the economy further. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dambara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Lambram Abubakar Nu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman from the municipality in the whole of the Green Chambers, and I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, let me thank the mover of this bill, Sir Jones Onyere, the next senator from Imo. Let me say that this bill is long overdue, and I think it's coming at the right time for us to give legal backing to the issue of payment settlement in Nigeria. I urge my honorable colleagues to support this bill because of most of the issues that are lingering on the issue of settlement in this country, especially that has to do with issues of abuse to settlement system, the issues of third parties, which I'm sure this bill will give the legal backing that is required for such abuses to be taken care of. Let me say that this legislation, if passed, will surely give the legal framework and regulatory framework that is required and the backing that CBN require to ensure that they take care of issues that are pertaining to most of the abuses that are happening in the payment system bill. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, if this bill is passed, I'm sure that the issue of non-uniformity that we're having on the payment regulatory framework or the system, the payment, settlement payment, the system settlement will be taken care of. So I urge my colleagues to please support this bill and ensure that we pass it for the second reading so that it can go to the third reading. Thank you, my honorable colleagues, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Garba Shehu Sakinoma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my name is Shehu Garba Sakinoma. I represent Jama Sanga Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this bill, which has been ably debated by the sponsor, Sir Honorable John Onyere. Mr. Speaker, it's a known fact that the financial inclusion in Nigeria is at a abysmally very low ratio, and with a large section of this population outside of the banking and the formal payment system, it becomes very difficult for the financial system to operate very efficiently. And one of the reasons why we have such a low percentage of financial inclusion in Nigeria is the fact that the populace, the general populace, still harbors some misgiving on the intermediaries in the financial system, which is the bank and the payment system at large. This bill set to further instill confidence, not just in our banking system, but also with the mechanism for settlement. And Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleague, you agree that with the advent of the new methods of making payment, which includes internet and other platforms through which people can make payment outside of the banking system, there arises a need to clearly define the responsibilities and the obligations of each player in the system. And this law, which is being proposed, seeks to formalize the functions, the responsibility, and the liability of each player in the payment value chain. This, when passed, will further serve to provide not just a framework for an efficient payment system, but also to ensure that participants are ably protected from the actions of the operators. Mr. Speaker, this bill is one of those bills that seeks to improve on the business framework and the business environment within our country, and should receive the blessing and each and every one of us here, because it will go a long way to improving the business climate, because anything that is done to further strengthen on the payment system by clearly defining the responsibilities and obligation of each player, I think is a law that should be welcome, especially having taken into account the experiences that we have had over the past decade with the advent of the internet and other mediums of settlement, which has been outside of the conventional banking system. This law is very apt and demands that we give expeditious consideration to it, and it is in this guise, Mr. Speaker, that I rise to support the second reading of the bill. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Any more contributors to the debate? Okay, there's none. So I'll put the question. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for the management, administration, operation, regulation, and supervision of payment, clearing, and settlement systems in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Banking and Currency. Third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of Bill for an Act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Chapter F17, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, by providing for a new campus in Iloiloji, Ondo State, and for related matters standing in the name of Honorable Mayowa Samuel Akim-Folarimwo. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 28 March 2018. And I invite Honorable Mayowa to move that the bill be now read the second time. Honorable Mayowa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Akim-Folarimwo. I represent the good people of Ileoluji, Okegbo, Odigbo Federal Constituency. I rise to move a bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Cap 17, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by providing for a new campus in Ileoluji, Ondo State, for other related matters. I so move.
Honorable Akinlaja.
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir, Honorable colleagues, my name, Honorable Comrade Akilaja Joseph. I represent Ondo East Ondo West Federal Constituency. I do rise to support the motion as moved by my colleague, Mayowa Akinfolan. I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Mayowa, please lead the debate.
Bill, and I will not bore you with the importance of education. We all know education is very critical and central to the development of any nation. I will equally use this opportunity to appreciate the federal government for establishing the Federal Polytechnic in Ile-Oluji in Ondo State. 4 polytechnics were established in 2015. But as we are talking now, as I'm talking to you, the polytechnic in Ile-Oluji in Ondo State is yet to be listed in the principal act as cited in the Federal Polytechnic Act 2004. The major objective of this bill is one, amend the Federal Polytechnic Act 2004, recognize the already established campus or polytechnic in Ile-Oluji, Ondo State. One, thirdly, to bring education closer to my people, create a very favorable educational growth and development in Ondo State. And the structure of the bill is, the bill has 3 clauses. Clause 1, amend the Federal Polytechnic Act. Clause 2, amend the schedule of the act by locating or site a new campus in Ondo State, which happens to be in Ile-Oluji town. And lastly, clause 3 provides the citation. I'm urging my fellow colleagues to support me in giving legal backing to already established institution, which is the Federal Polytechnic Ile-Oluji, which has not been given legal backing. I urge you all to support this motion by providing legal backing and technical recognition for Federal Polytechnic Ile-Oluji. I so submit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Retired Commodore Aminu, I don't know if, as Chairman Committee on Tertiary Education, if we have laws establishing campuses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm from Kano State. My name is Comrade Aminu Sulaiman. I represent Panye Federal Constituency. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this very critical observation. As a matter of fact, it is what I had intended to share with my colleague, the mover of this motion, and to let him understand that we don't have and we do not require a law to establish a campus, particularly that this institution was created just 2 years back, and therefore the need for an additional campus at this stage of the institution development did not arise at all, Mr. Speaker. I hope that the mover of the bill will accept this or throw in more clarification.
Are you done? Okay. Chairman, rules of business.
Okay, yeah. Again, sir. I said I thank the mover of the bill for his interest, but also, Mr. Speaker, quickly call his attention to the fact that by way of a bill, we do not require a bill to establish a comfort for any institution. This is usually an administrative decision by the governing council of any of the institutions. And by merit, Mr. Speaker, the institution under reference was established just 2 years back. It is grappling with the teeth of development, including enrollment. So personally, except for him that resides there, I do not believe that there is need at this moment to now think about establishing a compost, and more so coming by way of bill. So I urge him to stand corrected on this.
Okay, Honorable Maiwa, except you have an objection to what the chairman of the committee, the explanation he's just given us, I think establishing campuses are done by administrative fiat, not by way of separate laws. So you pass a specific law establishing a campus. Okay, let's listen to Maiwa, then Honorable Osai wants to help out. We'll listen to him as well.
Mr. Speaker, I think I will accept that maybe because of that misuse of campus. What I'm saying is the major aim of this bill is to cite. I want to make it abundantly clear to the House that after the establishment of the Federal Polytechnic in Ileoluji, it has not been cited in the Federal Polytechnic Act 2004. What I'm saying now that it should be listed on the act. So maybe the campus I use might be a little bit confusing. But the major aim of this bill is to ensure that the Federal Polytechnic in Ileoluji is cited in the Federal Polytechnic Act of 2004. So maybe because of the campus program, I will have to delete the campus.
Honorable Osai.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. You know, in making laws, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, you look at many variables when you are making a law. And I have also, in my own capacity, when I was in the House of Assembly, to start with, we enacted a law that have 2 campuses and established by law, not only administrative. If you choose to administratively establish campuses, you give the law a lot of latitude for the governing council to operate on that. But if you want to make a clause to establish different campuses for certain variables, reasons, you can. Campuses can be established by law. So I disagree with the proponent who says that it's only established only by administrative purposes. I don't agree with that persuasion.
So, well, in situations where we don't have clear rules, we are guided by precedents. Is there any university, any law establishing an institution that establishes other campuses? Do we have any separate law that you can point to, please? Tell state now, at the federal level.
I'm coming, sir. Lagos State University, beside it, has another campus established by law. Can't check the law. It's not only established, not only done in Delta State.
That state, I want you to point to any federal institution that has campuses established by acts of parliament.
The legislative and take cognizance of the society as it grows. The legislative chambers take cognizance as society grows. And that's why I say it requires a lot of variables. Variable in the sense that probably an institution has probably the number of that institution, the number of people that are gaining entrance into that institution has expanded. And now the need to be able to address concern of many Nigerians who have no opportunity to gain entry into such campuses, and other campuses can be established by law. So that's why I say it depends on the variables on ground. They can establish by law, and there's nothing stopping us from establishing it. In fact, when you do it in terms of administrative, they can even establish more than 3 campuses administratively. administratively. You know, Mr. Speaker, in the last 5 years, there was a time there was a multiplicity of campuses in different places before the NUC. Say no, if you want to have, don't have more than one campuses. And that's what the NUC came up with, administratively. But I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, by law, let me tie the hands of the governing council down. Because there are variables that created the establishment of such campuses. I don't think, Mr. Speaker, he is an impediment to any lawmaking. I don't think so.
Buba Yakub.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Yusuf Buba Yakub. I represent Gombe Home Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I think the mover of the bill have two different issues. One is about the campus, but the major issue he wants to be addressed is that the Polytechnic is not cited in the Federal Polytechnic Act 2004. So that is the major issue that needs to be tackled. I so move that we should pass the bill so that the Polytechnic can be cited in the Federal Polytechnic Act 2004.
Chairman Rules and Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the good people of Buruku, my dear colleagues. I'm from Plenary State. Aviation. Aviation. We want the Speaker to hear this. Okay, so, Mr. Speaker, there is a problem here. It's a drafting problem. It's a drafting problem, actually. My understanding here is that, you know, there's a Federal Polytechnics Act. In the schedule to that act are all the polytechnics in Nigeria. Now, this polytechnic came into being after that act. So the idea is to amend it to bring it into the schedule of the Federal Polytechnic Act. But erroneously, they are talking about a new campus that is the one that is creating the confusion. If you take that out, this bill is in order because it wants to just list it in the schedule of the Federal Polytechnic Act. That is what is at stake here. So I think it's in order. When the matter comes to committee of the whole, we can do the correction there. Otherwise, it's not out of order. Thank you.
Okay, I guess the explanation is well taken because my own initial concern was that if we start establishing campuses by law, then we'll have flurry of laws here asking for establishment of campuses for all universities and we cannot manage it. But if it's just to amend a schedule to include that in the act, I think it's okay. So, Honorable Akilaja, you want to say something about the Polytechnic? It's a straightforward thing.
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir. The matter is straightforward the way it has been explained. The issue of campus is not the issue. The issue of listing it in the schedule, that's the explanation I wanted to give Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleague, that the bill can go on and amending the schedule to include the already established Ilaoluji Polytechnic, the Polytechnic in Ilaoluji. That's my contribution. Thank you.
The honorable colleagues have put the question. The question is the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Chapter F17 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 by providing for a new campus in Elokoji, Ondo State and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to Committee on Tertiary Education and Services. Fourth order of the day, honorable colleagues, commencement of debate on the general principles of bill for an act to establish a Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria to serve as a regulatory body for persons serving as directors in both public and private sectors to determine the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become directors, to make provision of continuous training and development of the directors, to ensure professionalism and promote corporate governance values by the directors and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Osai Nicholas Osai and 20 other honorable members. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 28 February 2018. I now invite Honorable Osai to move that the bill be now read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Osai Nicholas Osai. I represent local Kwani Federal Constituency of Delta State. I move that the bill for an act to establish the Charter Institute of Directors of Nigeria to serve as a regulatory body for the persons serving as directors in both public and private sectors to determine the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to be directors, to make provisions for continuous training and development of directors to ensure professionalism and promote corporate governance values by directors, and for other related matter. Be read the second time. I so move.
Honorable Sylvester Obaga.
Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Sylvester Obaga, represent Abakaliki Federal Constituency from Ebonyi State. I stand to second the motion that the bill as moved by Honorable Osai be read the second time. I so moved. So submit.
Honorable Osai, please lead the debate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, the Chartered Institute of Directors has been in existence for the past 35 years. And the purpose of establishment and has already been achieved cooperatively as an institute that is good for good governance in our country. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, there are certain benefits the institute will gain through some affiliations of the war body. It is based on these affiliations to be able to generate a lot of influence from the war body to enhance directors of our countries that necessitated establishment by law, to give a legal teeth, so that at the end of the day, the war body will understand that this institute has been established by law, an act of National Assembly. And what is the purpose of establishing this institute? Mr. Speaker, is to promote the practice of directorship in public and private sectors in challenging and supportive environments. Secondly, is to provide well-educated directors, specialists with critical thinking and creative problem-solving skills. Today, Mr. Speaker, most people intend to answer director, but do they have the skill of thinking outside the box to be able to create an organizational balance and reach an organizational mission? Mr. Speaker, it is this institute that will be able to impact that knowledge to be able to meet a complete corporate organizational goals and missions. Mr. Speaker, even in our civil service sectors, if these directors are not well trained and retrained, it is difficult to be able to align government needs, what they intend to give to the needs of the society from a different point of view. Mr. Speaker, we're talking about diversification of our economy today. It is a well-trained director that will be able to generate data that can create a lot of, multiply effects and create a balance in our economy. Mr. Speaker, this institute also, the aim of establishing it is to prepare knowledgeable skill, cultural competence, compassionate and reflective specialist corporate governance practitioner. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of things that are uncalled for, especially when you meet some directors, they can't meet up the ethics of what that establishment is all about. And this establishment will give them the latitude to be able to interact with the war body and gain more knowledge on how corporate organizations, how governance in our country can be achieved. Mr. Speaker, strengthen the institute to collaborate with individuals, organizations, agencies whose interest is in building the human capacity of Nigerian directors and corporate governance with the aim of developing professional and technical know-how and improving productivity. Today, what is the reasons of establishing the Institute of Legislative Study? The essence of establishing the Institute of Legislative Study is to impact knowledge, competence on the practice and procedure and skill of drafting, for legislators so that at the end of the day, any legislator that have come will become highly competent. It's the same thing that this institute is going to apply, applicable to directors that will become more competent, skilled, and organizational knowledge to be able to drive the process of a very complex economy today that we have built ourselves. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, is to promote high level of ethical standard in the practice of the profession and skill that shall be attained by persons seeking to qualify as members of the institute. Mr. Speaker, persons to qualify as members of the institute, that means it does not tie hands in terms of directorship. If you feel that you want to become a member of the institute and you want to be competent enough to drive the process of the generational change, then you can be affiliated through exams. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, this also bill has been exhaustively discussed in the last assembly. Early discussed before a clause came in and the bill was shut down that it should be represented again. Mr. Speaker, I urge you, as I urge myself, to support this bill with the speed of light it requires. I so rest my case. Thank you.
Honorable Pajok. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, my name is Edward Pajok. I represent the South-East of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, I'm also a co-sponsor of this bill and I also support the bill. Mr. Speaker, what distinguishes this bill? In distinguishing it, let me harp on the fact that the lead sponsor spoke about in the brief that the present status of the institute is that it is a non-profit making public company limited by guarantee. So what distinguishes it now, if this bill is passed, is that it will now become a chartered institute established by an act of parliament. Now this raises the status of the institute because as of now, if it remains a public company limited by guarantee, it means it is regulated by the Company and Allied Matters Act, specifically Section 26 of CAMA, which defines companies limited by guarantee. Subsection 1 of that section says, where a company is to be formed by promoting commerce, art, science, religion, sports, culture, education, research, charity, or other similar objects, and the income and property of the company are to be applied solely towards the promotion of its objects, and no portion thereof is to be paid or transferred directly or indirectly to the members of the company except as permitted by this act. The company shall not be registered as a company limited by shares, but may be registered as a company limited by guarantee. So this is, as of now, is a company limited by guarantee. But Mr. Speaker, in seeking to make the institute for its status to be raised, to become a chartered institute established by an act, it will make it to be on the same pedestal with other professional organizations like the Legal Practitioners Act, which regulates the profession of lawyers. Also, doctors and dentists are regulated by the Dental and Medical Practitioners Act. So, there's no gainsaying the fact that in today's world, directors are very, very important, whether in the public sector or in the private sector. We have seen bank directors who siphon public wealth running into billions, into hundreds of billions of naira. This is because probably we do not have ethical standards for directors because they are being regulated by the Company and Allied Matters Act, where if, let's say, your father owns majority shareholding in a company, you can inherit his directorship or you can be appointed a director. You might not have been trained in terms of ethics. Again, there may not be a disciplinary tribunal established by the institute to take care of issues of directors. Mr. Speaker, as a lawyer, you know that the Legal Practitioners Act has the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee. Also, doctors have theirs and other allied professions because they are established by an act. But if it's a company limited no by guarantee, they do not have those disciplinary no tribunals. I have seen the draft, the brief. It says that if we establish an act, that is a chartered institute, then there will also be a disciplinary tribunal to take care of the infractions that may be committed by directors. That will reduce the multitude of crimes that we have associated with directors, particularly of banks and so many other important institutes. I think that's the main reason why we need to up the status of this institute. And there's no gainsaying the fact that, especially the fact that for us to be aligned with other international institutes, that's similar institutes, even students who want to be trained in that area, for them to gain recognition, the institute must be recognized. So, Mr. Speaker, with this little explanation, I pray that my honorable colleagues would support this bill, let it go for second reading, and let it be passed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dr. MS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Dr. Mohammed Sani Abdu. I represent Al-Kalirikil Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to oppose the second reading of this particular bill, not for the technicalities that are being enunciated, but for the fact that I think we are having very short institutional memory in this House. I am sure in this session, this year, this same Institute of Chartered Accountant, Institute of Chartered Directors was brought before this House twice by Honorable Garba Gezo from Kano, and it was rejected. And there were many reasons proffered for its rejection. This is because it is infringing on the personal rights of private companies, particularly sole administratorship and so on, that if I have my company and I have my directors, I have to subject it to any charter. So it was really debated and rejected, and I want the clerk to go back into his archive and check, and then we should not bring a bill after it has been rejected within the same session. That is my reason why I stand up to go against it. Thank you. Yeah, this one.
Honorable EJ.
Right, Honorable Speaker and dear colleagues, I remain Honorable EJ Adwanyima, representing the good people of Ego, Gobaka Federal Constituency, the heartbeat of the nation, Edo State. Let me appreciate the sponsor of this bill and the co-sponsor, Honorable Sai and Honorable Pajok, for this bill, a bill for an act to establish the Charter Institute of Directors of Nigeria to serve as a regulatory body for persons serving as directors in both public and private sector. Mr. Speaker and dear colleagues, the reason I believe every member of this hallowed chamber must stand tall to support this wonderful bill. It's a bill I believe that we fast track, enhance, we Nigerians, especially the directors that are supposed to direct the affairs of this nation, creating enabling environment for training and training again and again. Our problem, Mr. Speaker, of course, is we're not able to train those in authority, coordinating, directing the affairs of our dear nation. I believe this establishment will not only bring an added value to the body of directors to direct properly, to be professional in their dealings, both in public and private sector, Mr. Speaker. This is overdue, especially at this time that Nigeria as a nation is striving to be among the leading nations. And we must do this to make sure that we support. So at the end of the day, we can have to make provision for continuous training and development of the directors. Some directors, Mr. Speaker, I tell you, some of them are computer illiterate. And if we must look ahead to be among the leading nation, because the world is a global village now, we must equip them. We must give them the tools. We must give them the support to pilot the affairs of this great nation. It is the only way we do that. We can challenge them to make sure they contribute immensely to the development of this country. I think if we are saying that our constitution is almost like the United States Constitution, training is something that can never be compromised. It is mandated, it is compulsory to make sure that directors are trained as I went due. Most of our directors in this country today, Mr. Speaker, I tell you the truth, there's a serious problem. I believe that this bill spelled everything out for us to take it as a bill that will put this nation first and put Nigerian people in the right perspective. At the end, good things, greater things, better things can come to our dear nation. This is the purpose, the reason why I am throwing my support, and I'm also appealing to this wonderful chamber, my wonderful brothers and sisters, who believe that by supporting this bill, we are doing ourselves a wonderful favor. So at the end of the day, those who elected us, we understand we are here to represent them effectively, to be responsible, to be accountable. And at this bill speak for itself, Mr. Speaker. Please, I appeal that we support this bill. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak on this very wonderful bill.
Chairman, Rules and Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the good people of Buruku, my dear colleagues. I'm from Federal State. Mr. Speaker, I'm supporting this bill, but I want to start from where Honorable M.S. Abdul left it, where he was raising the issue of the bill having been presented twice by Honorable Garba Mohammed. That is not exactly the case. Garba Mohammed brought this bill on the floor. It was rejected. Now, Honorable Osai brought it again. Unfortunately, somebody pointed out that it was brought in the same session, so it was stepped down. So we are right to bring it after a session. It no longer breaches any of our regulations, standing orders. My joy about this bill today is that if you take a look, 20 persons, at least 20 persons are co-sponsoring this bill. Now I happen to know that at least 7 of those who are co-sponsoring this bill today opposed it when Honorable Garba Mohammed brought it on the floor. Meaning that they saw the light. My dear colleagues, the full title of the bill, in my opinion, explains it all. It says to determine the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to be directors, to make provisions for continuous training and development of the directors to ensure professionalism and promote corporate governance values by the directors. I think those are noble objectives. As explained by the lead sponsor, Honorable Sayo Sai, this association already exists worldwide to promote standards. The Nigerian version of it has been existing for the past 25 years at least, without any legal backing. Now, my information is that when they attend meetings, they have issues of recognition because of the non-legal status of this association. So what they are seeking to do is to have this legal backing so that they will, when they attend meetings, they will attend the global best standards that that association seeks to promote. That is all. If you take a look at the bill itself, you see that there is nothing that offends our laws. You see that it costs the government no time to pass this bill. Nothing. So, and nobody is compelled to be part of it. So I think we should have no issues allowing this bill to go for second reading so that at the end of the day, this body of professionals will do their job and interact with their global, colleagues without any delay or hindrance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues.
Honorable Rotimi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Prince Rotimi Agusoye, representing Koshope Federal Constituency of Lagos. I will want to support the bill for the character of the person sponsoring the bill. But there is a problem here. A problem that I will want him to go back at the committee level to go and work on. I'm supporting the bill. You see, we are still fighting corruption in Nigeria. Corruption is still fighting seriously back. To establish the institute to be as a regulatory body for persons serving as directors in both public and private sectors to determine the standards of knowledge or whatever. I just hope it will not be another toll gate. That is the reason why I will want the sponsor of the bill, when it gets to the committee level, to go and work on what can be done as penalty in case they find people wanting to take care of that. I support the bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any more contributors? So I'll put a question. And the question is the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title to the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria to serve as a regulatory body for persons serving as directors in both public and private sectors, to determine the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become directors, to make provisions for continuous training and development of directors, to ensure professionalism and promote corporate governance values by directors, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Commerce. Fifth order of the day is a motion calling for improved health sector funding throughout the Federation, standing in the name of Honorable Akinwumi Nuruddin Olaitan and one other member. Honorable Olaitan is now invited to move the motion. Once Honorable Chimo is not around, you will find Honorable Olaitan on the floor.
Briefly, Mr. Speaker, I have the privilege to step down this motion, which I know is objectionable to a lot of my colleagues here.
Motion stepped down by leave of the House. We're moving to consideration of reports. Sixth order of the day, honorable colleagues, consideration of bill for an act to amend the provision of Electoral Act number 6, 2010, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 16th October 2018. Honorable Aisha Duku will move for the consideration of the report.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, my highly respected colleagues. I'm Honorable Aisha Duku, Jimbiar Duku, member representing Dukuna for the Federal Constituency. I come from Gombe State. May I move for the consideration of the report on a bill for an act to amend the provisions of the Electoral Act number 6, 2010 and for related matters, HB 1544. I so move.
Seconder, Honorable Muaz Hassan, Honorable Nasiru, are you asking me to ask you to go back to your seat?
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Ismail Muaz Hassan, representing Akko Federal Constituency. I rise as a motion moved by my sister, Ajay Shatu, that the report be considered.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Seventh order of the day is consideration of report of the Conference Committee on the Bill for an Act to establish the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, provide for additional powers and functions to the office, establish the Federal Audit Service Commission, repeal the Audit Act 1958, the Public Accounts Committee Act Chapter P35 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and Public Accounts Implementation Tribunal Act Chapter P36 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Federal Audit Service and for related matters. Honorable members will recall the report was laid on Thursday, 24 July 2018. Honorable Kingsley Chinda will move for the consideration of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, Kingsley Chinda, I represent Obiabo Federal Constituency. I'm an Ikure man from River State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I seek and move that the House do consider the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to establish the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, provide for additional powers and functions to the office, establish the Federal Audit Service Commission, repeal the Audit Act 1956, the Public Accounts Committee Act Cap P35 Laws of Federation 2004, and the Public Accounts Implementation Tribunal Act Cap 3 P36 Laws of Federation 2004, and enact the Federal Audit Service Bill and for related matters HB 107, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Goni Bukar.
Right Honorable Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, I am Right Honorable Goni Bukar Lawan, member representing Bursari, Gaidam Minusari, I'm from Yobe State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Right Honorable Chinda. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Leader, resolving to Committee of the Whole to consider.
Thank you, sir.
Speaker, I rise to move that this House dissolve to the Committee of Whole for consideration of the reports. I so move.
Deputy Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my leader for opposition.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. House hereby resolved into committee of the whole to consider the reports.
Honorable colleagues, order please. Honorable colleagues, incidentally, we are about to start considering one of the most important documents that concerns all of you. This is a report on the amendment of Electoral Acts. This is a report on Electoral Acts. So I beg you better take your seats and pay attention. Sani Sango Daura, Nasir, Babale, Ahmed Lawan, Waleraji, good luck. Ije Agboyima, Paul Oguma, Ije Agboyima, Soma, take your seat. Gaza Golu, Tobi Okechukwu, Honorable Tobi Okechukwu, Tony Wulu, not too young to run. Dr. Pat Asadu, you are stylishly leaving the chamber. Please give members copies of the Electoral Act report. Give Simon Arabo one copy. He's a dutiful member of this committee. Give MT one. Pastor side, yes. Who are those distributing the report? I want Simon to have one. I want MT to have. I want Pajok to have. Inka Jai, you have one. Go and give go and give Simon Arabo one. Go and give that man Simon Arabo. Go and give him the report. Yes, I want to exercise that power. Go and give. You are not needed. Go and give Shakari one. Go and give Shakari. You are not needed. You can leave. Yes. Give Soma one. No, Sunny Soro, you are not qualified to collect. Revote if you like. Revote. Give Shagari, give Simon Arabo, give MT Moguno, give hello, come. Hello, Sergeant at Arms. Go and give Pajok. The giving people I'm asking you to give. Give Pajok. Give Shagari, go and give Shagari one. part of the rule is that I'm the presiding officer. I'm the presiding officer. I will interpret the rule. I'm interpreting the rule now. I'm interpreting the rule now. That is the discretion given to me by the rule. Yes. Outside you have one. Padlock you have. Empty you have. Okay. I want empty assignment to have first. Yes. Africa, don't worry, you will have. Africa, you will have. I know you. Africa, you will have. Soma. Do you have? I'm safe. Tinga, do you have? Yeah. Gaza, do you have? Good. Binta is my sister. It will pass. You can't shoot it down. It will pass. Okay, why they are making copies? I'm serious. So why they are making copies of the reports? We will go to the second report. But honestly, Excellency Malike, you are there. Do you have? You must have. After I been shut out of the primary, do you want to shut out this one? The one I have is for her. Honorable colleagues, while we are waiting for that report, because you know it's important, that particular bill is been returned for some couple of times by Mr. President, and we have to consider it today. While awaiting further production of that report, let us go to the second report of the day, which is a report of the House Committee on Public Accounts on the Conference Committee on Federal Audit Service Commission Bill 2018 House Bill 107. And I invite the Chairman House Committee on Public Accounts to speak to the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my dear colleagues. The Audit Service Commission Bill is one major achievement that the 8th Assembly can put on record that we achieved. The Office of the Auditor General, in almost every serious-minded client, is an independent institution, normally the supreme audit institution. But in Nigeria, the difference is the case. And there is no way we can actually make progress in the fight against corruption without establishing an independent supreme audit institution. That is the essence of this bill. Incidentally, my dear colleagues, you will recall that the said bill originated from the House of Representatives, and it was passed on 19th day of April 2016 and transmitted to the Senate for concurrence. The bill is to empower the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation to bring about proper accountability in public expenditure of the Federation. The bill will also establish the Federal Audit Service Commission to cater for the staff of the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. The bill will also repeal the Audit Act of 1956, Public Accounts Committee Act Cap P35, Laws of Federation 2004, and the Public Accounts Implementation Tribunal Act Cap P36, Laws of Federation 2004, which are all military laws. They are no longer applicable under the present democratic dispensation. The Conference Committee deliberated and scrutinized both the Senate and House of Representatives versions of the bill. A total of 28 clauses had differences. 25 clauses of the Senate version were adopted, while 3 clauses of the House of Representatives version were adopted. My dear colleagues, the committee hereby recommends the adoption of its recommendation as indicated in the report that is attached hereto. Again, on behalf of members of the Public Accounts Committee, including those in the Senate, I want to appreciate the National Assembly for giving us the opportunity of being part of those to write history in crafting this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, my dear colleagues.
Thank you very much, Chairman. The bill has 53 clauses. Please, if you don't have, try as much as possible to sit by somebody who has, so that you can share. I equally attest to the fact that it is an important bill. And so we now go ahead to pass the clauses. No, when we get to a particular clause, the honorable side.
To me, because we have got no input on a conference report. Conference report is something that has been agreed by both chambers in identical form to pass the bill. So all we need to do is just a motion to adopt it. That's what we need in a conference report.
Honorable Chinda, was there any time this bill was considered in the Committee of the Whole of the House of Representatives?
Mr. Chairman, it's been considered and passed, and then we had differences in what was passed here and what was passed in Senate. So we had a conference meeting where we agreed on the differences. So I agree that we just move that we adopt the report of the conference committee.
Thank you very much. That is not the procedure. The procedure is, as long as we see it in the Committee of the Whole, we still have to go pass clause by clause. You only do adoption at the plenary. And once the report is slated for consideration in the Committee of the Whole, so we still go through the clause by clause. So we don't adopt, we pass, when we go back to plenary, we adopt. So that's the procedure, and that's the proper procedure. So let's go back and try to pass the 53 clauses of the bill. Clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4, clause 5, clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, clause 10, clause 11, clause 12, clause 13, clause 14, clause 15, clause 16, clause 17, clause 18, clause 19, clause 20, clause 21, clause 22, clause 23, clause 24, clause 25, clause 26, clause 27, clause 28. I'm too fast. But it's already an adopted conference or committee report. So what else do you want? Clause 28, clause 29. Then I have the separate report on my table.
Mr. Chairman, what you have there are the sections that are affected, but only 28 clauses.
Take those sections that were affected. We will take this one, but that is what you should have done. Okay. So, Adia, how far have we gone? Chinda, you have. Good luck, you have. Go and give on this column. Go and give Faleke, give Wale Raji, give Dennis. There's no point of order here. No point of order here. Hello, Sergeant at arms. What do you mean by everybody's entitled? Which entitlement? I know the members of this committee, those interlopers, we are not going to give them reports. No. Your principal. No, Saturday, you don't even deserve one. Ikiruka, come and give Ikiruka this copy. No point of order. Don't raise any point of order. Paul Okuma, please. I will not be left with no other option than to invoke the relevant section of the Constitution and the rule. Go and share with him. Zachary there. And the whips are they dead when you are acting for them. You know this electoral act emanates from the House of Rep. It is whatever we do that the Senate will have to concur with, so we have to find a way of doing it. Is that not correct? colleagues, honestly, go and give empty. Go and give empty. Give empty. Then give Shagari. Give Shagari. Then go and give Africa. Hello. Give Africa. Give Ajayi. So let's okay, Nasir. Okay. Come, find one for Nasir. When you get one for Nasir, then we'll start. Who? Collins and Sergius. You are protesting. Sergius, are you sure you are protesting? No, I'm asking you. Are you sure you are protesting? Collins, you are protesting. Colleagues, on a sincere note, please let's start consideration of this. We will be careful. If you don't have any, just try to sit by the side of anybody that has. It's an important document, and we will take care in passing it. And I will join Collins, Honorable Collins, Honorable Collins, Honorable Sergius. Please, can you come forward to come and sit by people who have the reports? You say if you don't have, it doesn't matter. So right here, colleagues, like I said earlier, you will recall that this exercise we are about to undertake has been done about 3 times in the past, starting from the sequence of election, from so many other issues raised by Mr. President. I would therefore call on the chairman of the committee, and don't forget the last time assent was denied, observations were raised on 11 areas of this particular report. The chairman of the committee is going to, one after the other, go over those 11 areas so as to make sure that all of us are on the same page. And we therefore, after that, go ahead and pass the report. So I call on the chairman as committee on electoral and political party matters to speak to the report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My highly respected colleagues, honestly, I have to thank you for your patience in handling the Electoral Act. It is an act that affects all of us. And we all remember that when we came back, reasons were given by Mr. President as to why he declined assent. So we concentrated on those areas. And now these areas I'm going to take you through. So for those that have the summary, I dealt with the committee, the joint committee of the House and the Senate dealt with them. For those that have the summary, please, I'm sorry, the summary is still going to be circulated. For some that have it, please share it. is there on your papers, on our what do you call it? Proceedings, on our proceedings that was distributed. Reasons were given and the letters were even printed on our proceedings. So, Mr. Chairman, Section 9.
Now, why I want to take this route is that because of the fact that although all other documents are equally important, but this one is very, very important. Why I want to take the route I'm trying to take is that we first listen to her, like the normal practice for the chairman who prepared the report to speak to the report, but in this case specifically to listen to the observation of Mr. President on those 11 clauses, so that if you have anything to say, I will now open the floor before we go to the normal carry that we normally do. I want it to be done in that way, so that we'll be sure. Fred, please. So, Chairman, please, I will enjoin members to please pay attention to the chairman of the committee. Sadiq, don't come and disrupt our process. Take seat. Adja.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Section 9 is amended by substituting for subsection 5 a new subsection 5. The subsection 5 is the registration of voters, updating and revision of the register of voters under this section shall stop not later than 60 days before any election covered by this bill. In the initial amendment, it was 30 days. INEC requested for 60 days and Mr. President supported that. So this is part of the amendment. Section 18 is amended by substituting for subsection 3 a new subsection 3. No person shall issue a replacement of permanent voter's card to any voter on polling day or less than 60 days before polling day. In the initial amendment, it was 30 days. And introducing a new subsection 4. Any person who contravenes subsection 3 of this section commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years or both. Section 27. Section 27 of the initial amendment has been deleted from this current bill. Reasons being that Section 27(1) of the Principal Act is dealing with announcement of election results. It is not related with the said amendment. Section 30. Section 31 of the Principal Act is amended by substituting for the figures 90 in line 1 with the figures 120 in the yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Section 31 of the Principal Act is amended by substituting for the figures 90 in line 1 with the figures 120. In the initial amendment, it was 150. Section 34. Section 34 of the initial amendment has been deleted from this current bill. Reason being that the amendment of this section seeks to alter that which has been taken care of by Section 44 of the bill. Section 36. Section 36 of the Principal Act is amended by inserting after subsection 2 a new subsection 3. And the new subsection 3 reads, if after the commencement of poll and before declaration of a winner, the leading candidate dies. In the initial amendment, it was a nominated candidate. So it is now the leading candidate, not a nominated candidate. And B, the political party whose candidate died may, if it intends to continue to participate in the election, conduct a fresh primary within 7 days of the death of its candidates and submit a new candidate to the commission to replace the dead candidate. In the initial amendment, it was 14 days. Yes, sir.
I want member, this is law. The word may, when we get to that clause, we just take note. This is law, and when you begin to say may, you create confusion. So when we get to that clause, please note. So you can continue. Well, let's get to it first. The Sadiq, please, we are following a procedure. Adia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Section 44. Section 44 of the Principal Act is amended by inserting after subsection 2, new subsections 3 and 6. The Commission shall not later than 60 days to an election invite in writing a political party that nominated a candidate in the election to inspect its identity appearing on samples of relevant electoral materials proposed for the election. In the initial amendment, it was 20 days. Now it has been changed to 60 days. Section 87. Section 8, 7, 12, and 13 of the initial amendment has been deleted from this current bill. Reason being that subsection 12 gives undue powers to INEC over political parties in the conduct of primary elections, and section 14 should be an administrative issue of the political parties. This subsection, Mr. Chairman, before gave INEC the sole power to determine whose name has been submitted by the political party after the primaries. And the two joint committees said no, that the power should not go to INEC. It should go to the political parties. Once the political parties have conducted the primaries, they've decided who should be. INEC has no powers whatsoever. It should just accept what the political parties have submitted. Section 120. Section 120 of the Principal Act is amended in paragraph D by deleting 1 million naira and substituting with 2 million naira, and by deleting 12 months and substituting with 5 years. Section E, any person who procures deals, obtains, or is found to be in possession of fake voter's card commits an offense and is liable on conviction to 10 years imprisonment. This amendment is new. Now, section 112. Section 112 of the initial amendment has been deleted from this current bill. Reason being that section 112 of the Principal Act is dealing with death of chairman before oath of office. It is not related with the said amendment, which has already been taken care of by section 36 of the bill. Section 151. Section 151 of the Principal Act is amended by inserting after subsection 2 a new subsection 3. Subsection 3 reads, where there is a breach of an order of a court of tribunal directed at the Commission, particularly order to produce, inspect, or take copies of electoral materials, such disobedience shall attract court sanctions, which shall include the committal by the tribunal or court of the Commission's official to whom order is directed to summary conviction to imprisonment for a term of at least 2 years or fine of not less than 10 million naira. In the initial amendment, there is no fine, but only an imprisonment for a term of at least 2 years. Mr. Chairman, these are the new amendments and the highlights, and those were the issues we had why Mr. President declined assent. This was done in collaboration with the presidency, represented by Senator Eta Ena, and the INEC, and then the two joint committees. All others in the Act are what we have been familiar with. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Honorable colleague. There are 40 clauses. Yes, there were 42, but 2 have been deleted as I read. There are 40 clauses. Okay, give me one. Just one. Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, I think fairly good numbers have gotten the report. And so we now start. It's a bulky report, but we won't rush it. But I hope there's no much problem other than the one that is made. So you have to pay attention when we get to that clause. Let's discuss it. 158 clauses altogether. Are we set? We are dealing with matters in column 3 anyway. So clause 1. We have to run through everything. We have to run through everything. Let's follow the procedure. We have to run through everything. I only need your attention so that we can quickly go through. We have to run through everything. Although we have challenge of numbering, the outlining is awkward. Very, very awkward. The outline is very, very awkward, but we cannot afford to step down these reports. We will pass, and our people will go and do the proper thing. But the outline is awkward. So, like I said, we are dealing with matters in column 3. So, clause 1. Mazu. Oh yeah.
Page 2, I'm reading from page 2. A person who, being a member of a political party, misrepresents himself by not disclosing his membership, affiliation, or connection to any political party in order to secure an appointment with the commission in any capacity, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a term of 5 years or a fine of 5 million or both. In the case where the member or a person at the point of maybe seeking for the appointment, he is no longer a member and he did not disclose that because knowing his position, he is no longer a member of that political party and he did not disclose. What happens to this provision?
Mr. Chairman, though I don't have the report, but I suppose what was supposed to be doing is to look at the areas that were brought back to us. If we were to start the constitutional report from the way Mazu started or going, we may not go get it right. I thought we should not be concerned about the area that the correction had been done between the two chambers and brought back to us. She said it in her own company. She said it, that the work was she said it, that the work was done between the representative of the presidency, the committee here in the house, and that of the Senate. She gave us a report. And that of the Senate.
This particular section of the house is the most difficult. There are some people, if you don't allow them to talk, yeah. So we will go, don't worry. We know what we want to do. So, clause 1. Clause 2. Clause 3. Clause 4. Just note where you want to raise issue. Honorable Osai, this is exactly No, let's address him, please. Let's address him, please. This is exactly what the deputy leader has just said. Don't forget, recall that this particular bill has been passed twice. Listen, please, listen first. It has been passed twice. We are at a point where ordinarily, if not because of the procedure, we are supposed to concern ourselves with areas where observations were raised. But they keep, each time we sit here, these gentle people seated there, we always remind us of the procedure of their reportage. Because they have a procedure where how they report what we do. And they always insist we must follow procedure. Ordinarily, we will have gone to those 10 areas and get done. But they always insist we must. And so, what you want to introduce will involve us start altering areas that have been agreed on, which is not correct. So, Honorable Osai, please take it. No, no, please. Okay, please, honorable colleagues, let's listen to him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My issue is that I have seen new instruction here. Those new instructions were not part of the already ones we passed before. That's why they are new instructions. And that's here, the book does not lie. The new instruction does not lie. The book does not lie. I'm coming. If there are new instructions to a particular clause that were not there before, it then means it has to be considered. Yes, that is the question. Now, the new instruction, they were in the former instruction. In the former instruction, it was 30 days. Now, the new instruction is talking about 60 days. I am not convinced with the 60 days, and I need to make my point. If I'm not convinced you to that extent, because people are talking, bro. My issue is this. Mr. Chairman.
Does it mean he accepts it?
Yeah, my issue is this. If there are no section of 60 days, which formerly it was 30 days, my question is that the chairman did not give a correct summary of why it has to be 60 days. Because to me, Nigerians should be allowed to register up to the point close to the election. If we are using all the electronic means in achieving all our results, it then means 30 days is enough rather than 60 days. 60 days, you are shutting a lot of people out. Yes. Yeah, of course, that is the truth. Okay, you have had your view. That's my view. Yeah, it might be noted. It might be noted, but I have heard it.
+5, +6, +7, +8, +9.
Thank you. Clause 8, that's page 6. 31 sub 8. Just the last line there, where it says a political party which presents to the commission the name of a candidate who does not meet the qualifications stipulated in this section commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine of 5 million naira, not to a term or a fine. Correct. That's my submission.
The word term should be replaced by fine. That okay, sorry. Delete to a term of to a term. Listen. A political party which presents to the commission the name of a candidate who does not meet the qualifications stipulated in this section commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine. So what is the omission?
I think we should ask the chairman of the committee. Mr. Chairman, the obviously meant to insert a term of imprisonment, probably some length of time, whether years or months.
You a political party now. You can't imprison a political party. Right. No, but this political party isn't typically have chairman. No, you can't. It's not even.
This thing is a simple thing. There are so many lawyers there. It's either you are convicted to serve a jail term or pay a fine. So let's go back to the chairman of the committee. Obviously, the term of imprisonment to be served is missing. Okay, political party. Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I think the reasonable interpretation here is that there was no intention of imprisonment, and I tell you why. Because if you look at the context of that paragraph, it is talking about a political party, and you cannot imprison a political party. You can only find a political party. So I think what is the intended here is that a fine of 5 million naira.
Mike, so conviction of a fine of 5 million naira what? No conviction. So we have now agreed that it's just a fine and it will be corrected accordingly, please. Clause 8, clause 9, clause 10, clause 11. Please, I still repeat, when we get to where the corrected section 36 of the Principal Act, we should be careful on the word may. It's clause 11. So we are there now, clause 11. Moasu, I won't be giving you floor at all time, please. So Soba, clause 11.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think the use of the word may here is correct. Because when you now say shall, it is like you are now forcing the political parties that they must substitute the candidate. But may, because it has given even room that if it intends, so what if it decides not to present another candidate? So the use of the word may is correct here, not shall. Because it's not necessary for the party to even substitute the candidate. That is the position, sir.
So lawyer says, all lawyer says is correct. So 11, correct. Ijuruka, you are maybe lawyer.
Mr. Chairman, on that section, he said they deleted the section 36, 3. He said in the initial amendment was a nominated candidate. Why did they change nominated to a leading candidate? At what point do you decide to cancel an election? Assuming we are doing polls and one of the candidates dies. You understand? Because it said they changed the nominated to a leading candidate.
There's good reason. There's good reason for that.
It's the good reason I want to do that.
Is Kogi?
Is it not Kogi? Is it not about Kogi election? Who asked you? Is it not about...
Clause 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Mr. Chairman, sir. Page 11, subsection 3. I think there's some grammatical issue there. Page 11, subsection 3. May I read, sir? Where a smart card reader deployed for the accreditation of voters fails to function in any unit, and a fresh card reader is not deployed 3 hours to the close of election in that unit, it shall be cancelled, and another election shall be scheduled 3 hours before the close of election. So, sir. So there is an omission there.
There's an omission. Let the chairman
no, I think. Okay, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Honorable Paja, for the observation. It's a printer's devil. It is within 24 hours. And the 3 hours, this was what was argued between INEC. Let me explain, please. It was argued that election starts by 8, and so by 1 o'clock, if there is no card reader, it means it's 3 hours to the closure of election. So we will have 2, 3, 4 o'clock. So 3 hours to the close of election. If there is no new card reader deployed, the election should be cancelled and rescheduled within the next 24 hours.
Please, he's just told us the provision of that. If you have, please, why not? Don't say it's another observation. The procedure here, I don't know why you always make this place difficult. The procedure is we have to comment on the submission of that particular plan. Don't introduce anything. Is there any problem with organizing another election within 24 hours? That is what you are liable to comment on. When there is no problem, so clause A is carried. We are on what?
Order, honorable colleagues.
You put 24 hours here.
Order, honorable colleagues. Listen to the chair.
The amendment is 24 hours. Just replace the 3 hours with 24. Adia, they are asking for the correct amendment. So state the correct amendment the way you have agreed to in your conference report.
Where a smart card reader deployed for accreditation of voters fails to function in any unit and a fresh card reader is not deployed 3 hours to the close of election in that unit, the election shall be cancelled. And another election scheduled within the next 24 hours. Shall be scheduled within the 24 hours. Within 24 hours.
The 16th user said the presiding officer shall use a smart card. The presiding officer shall use a smart card reader or any other technological device that why I'm saying that we should delete any other technological device that may be prescribed by the commission. Let us leave only card reader.
Yes. Before they bring German food. What can be used? Sorry.
Yeah. My amendment is that we should delete or any other technological device that may be prescribed by the Commission, or retain the card reader. Retain the card reader for the accreditation of voters to verify.
You can't put any other device.
Now, when you put any other device that is unknown to us, a new device might come that they may use to rig election that is unknown to you.
We shall not
Thank you.
Sides of the opinion that the word any other technological device should be deleted. So I will, from this column, I will take Honorable was deputy leader, then take leader. From this column, I will take Zachary and Nasir. Then I will take Daura too. Then from here, I will take Obaga. I will take Sadiq. Sadiq, I'm not recognizing you.
Mr. Chairman, maybe because I'm an engineer by profession and I believe you are one. And we should not foreclose that there is development that can take place within the Nigerian context or outside what that can give you a better result of what you want, provided it's going to give you the result of what you want. Are we saying that there will be no other improvement and we'll stop only on capital? We may have another instrument that tomorrow will give you the result of better than the candidate, including other devices. I think we are making loss. What we are after is to a transparent election. No. I think we should not be in a position of thinking as if there is no intellectuals in Nigeria that can give us their own services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to argue in line with the deputy leader in the sense that Order. I don't want to go back to this. Yes, in the sense that, Mr. Chairman, laws are not meant to be made to be rigid. There has to be a level of flexibility and discretion in every law. Otherwise, we box ourselves into a corner, especially when it comes to things like election. Mr. Chairman, we in this House formulated as part of being flexible. Even the Constitution, we came up with the doctrine of necessity. Mr. Chairman, if you look at this provision, section 2, subsection 2, and then look at subsection 3, if we restrict ourselves and don't allow room, that section 3 which says another election shall be conducted within 24 hours will not be possible. Because if a card reader does not function at all, then that election will not hold if you do not have an alternative. If you don't have an alternative to read the smart card. So it's important that we leave that room. It doesn't stop if there's an issue. It doesn't stop anybody from going to court. It does not stop anybody from going to court if there's an issue. So to prevent that, I believe that the word any other technological device, we can tweak it, we can say any other technological device subject to whatever, you can add that. But to straitjacket INEC into only smart card reader, then we might run into a cul-de-sac, might run into a problem.
Let me tell you, this
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable colleagues, I want to lash on to the argument of the deputy. And the argument is this. Any other technology, I lash on to his argument because card reader, it's evolution. Life is about evolution. We cannot be coming here every day to amend laws. Don't miss it. Any device that is going to be used will not just come from nowhere. Parties will be aware of it. The partaking candidates will know about it. Yes. So it's all the thing that will be done in one corner that nobody will know. But if we leave it at this, it means that we are not even thinking of tomorrow. Supposing a software will come tomorrow that would even be even better than Canada. But if the law is not there that is flexible, there will be a problem. So I think we should leave it as it is.
Information. Information that will help. Information, his microphone is not okay. Information. You are on your seat.
Anybody go back to your seat.
Mic now. It's not working. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you. Yes, sir. Sir, I align myself with the two former speakers. The reason is because basically, sir, with technology today, we are talking of basically like an app. If you take the same app for the card reader and you put it on a laptop, that laptop automatically becomes a card reader too. If you can put it on your phone, it does the same job. So I strongly believe we should not delete that. If INEC has the master list or a data bank on their laptop that they want to use, it is the same thing as using the card reader. You cannot say if the card reader is not there, they cannot use their laptops or computers that perform the same function as the card reader. If you have a software and you put it on that computer, it automatically becomes the card reader too. So I strongly believe we should leave that and it should not be deleted, sir.
Mr. Chairman, dear colleagues, you see, we don't make provision for where you will box yourself to a corner that you cannot come out of. When we did the issue of card reader, it was defined. You don't make a law that is not definite. You can get votes through vote cast or any other means. This is just a different thing altogether. It agrees with what I say. So we cannot accept for the masses things we don't know. If we say card reader or laptop, fine, it is defined. But to say any other is vague and cannot be accepted by Nigerians. It's not acceptable.
I was not very sure it's Mr. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In lawmaking, Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir, in the drafting of laws, of bills, there is a rule that says, yeah, I will. There's a rule that says that the drafter must be consistent. If in subsection 2 you are saying
card reader or any other device. And in subsection 3, you are saying only a smart card reader. You are not consistent. Those are not the letters. If we are going to adopt this any other device, it must appear in the 2 sections where card reader is intended to be used. And for me, any other device is illogical. It should be stricken out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to adopt the provisions of those who think that any other technology is vague and omnibus. Mr. Chairman, today we are talking about INEC being fair umpires in a contest. We don't want to draw ourselves back to what happened in the last by-elections, but I'm going for a contest, so I'll speak for myself. If I need a referee who has to be fair to oversee the contest I will be involved in, I think the most sincere thing to do is not leave a vacuum where anybody by advantage today can manipulate me out. So let us define, this is lawmaking, let us define it. Today we have a lot of cases in court because there are provisions in our constitution and laws we made that are not defined. And people use it for or against. We're making a law, we're all going to contest. So I speak for myself and those who are going to this contest. I'm not interested whether it's party A or B, I'm talking about contest. So this law should be defined. If it's card reader, it's card reader. If it's any other device that will be used for this contest we are going into, should be defined. Thank you very much. It's not defined. Any other is not defined. Yeah, any other is not defined. Please, thank you. They will rig you out.
Honorable colleagues, please let us listen from what Sadiq said, which is purely on point of law, that we have to be consistent in our drafting. If sub 3 of that particular clause says card reader alone, and that when you are even cancelling and doing the election all over again, you have to use card reader, then the issue of any technological device should not be so. The question now is to delete the word any other technological order. That is the question. So those in favor of that say aye. Those against say nay. So you see, you will now agree with me the reason why I always give people opportunity to express their mind. This is a very close one, and I won't go to the root of dividing the house. Let's be sincere with ourselves. What Sadiq said is consistent with the law. Okay, if you think as lawyers, okay, if there is a way out, I will only listen to lawyers now. If there is a way out. For God's sake, I will listen to lawyers alone.
Order, honorable colleagues, order. Honorable colleagues, order.
Okay, honorable colleagues, please, let us just oppose. Please, what I want to say is important now. We are all agree that we are all legislators and we are intelligent, but let us just oppose it with the ruling of courts or whatever a professional. In this case, it's simple. Consistency matters. Consistency matters. But if our lawyer says not being consistent is okay in law, that's okay with us. So I will listen to the leader, Shakari, Soba, and Jimmy Benson. No, Sadiq, you have said it and it's beautiful. Don't water it down. Don't water it down. So the leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, whilst Mr. Chairman, Osai, please. Deputy Whip, order.
But you put the question.
Deputy Whip, order.
Bali, relax now.
No, you put the question now. Yes.
Deputy Whip, order. Yeah.
Question.
Deputy Whip, order. Mr. Stop challenging the chair.
I will take over.
Mr. Chairman, yes. Whip, stop challenging the chair. Mr. Chairman, what's Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Whilst I agree that that there should be consistency in legal drafting, I also believe, and it is strike law, that when you read any section in any law, you don't read it in isolation. When the courts want to make sense of any provision, they read the law holistically. In interpreting this law, what you do is you read 2 and 3. 2 comes before 3. So 2 has already taken care of the technological devices. There is no need in repeating it. And if you read 3, Mr. Chairman, if you read 3, it does not say only smart card readers. There's nothing like only.
Anybody that says
yeah.
Why don't we listen to us and let's listen to the leader? Yes. Provided we believe we are learning from it, or
yeah. So, Mr. Chairman, contrary to what you said, subsection 3 does not say only card readers. It doesn't say so. Where is smart card reader deployed? Or Babangida, go back to your seat.
Oh, let us listen to what he's reading.
Subsection 3 says, where a smart card reader deployed for accreditation of voters fails to function in any unit, and a fresh card reader is not deployed 3 hours to the close of election in that unit, shall be cancelled and another election shall be scheduled within 24 hours. Right. It does not say only smart card. It does not say, oh, no, which was what, Chairman, in saying, Chairman, in saying, no, Chairman, I'm only repeating, Chairman, order, I'm only repeating what you said.
Honorable Aside.
I'm only repeating what you said, Chairman. When you were trying to analyze, when you were trying to analyze Sadiq's submission, you said we should listen to Sadiq. That's what section 3 says, only smart cards. You said it, not me. And I'm pointing out that it does not. Subsection 2 says smart card readers or any other technological device. That need not be repeated here. Now, Chairman, let us look at the Constitution. The Constitution says it gives INEC the powers to conduct and organize the election. So even if you remove the any other technological device, and INEC brings one that is able to read your card, there's nothing you can do. So, if you remember correctly, Mr. Chairman, If you remember correctly, just recently, Kaduna conducted local government elections using a particular type of card reader. So whether you remove it, whether you don't, the Constitution has given INEC the powers to organize elections, and this falls squarely under that. Faleke, go back to your seat. Excellency Faleke, go back to your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Chairman, the leader just drew our attention and referred us to subsection 3, 2 and 3. Now, if we use, like Chairman had observed, in reference to what Honorable Sadiq said, 3 here is not consistent with 2. There is no any other technology device mentioned in 3. Now, if we go back and juxtapose it with the mischief rule, why the smart card reader? The smart card reader is mentioned and intended for a purpose. Why do we now have to bring in the ambiguity of any other technological device? That brings in the purpose to defeat the intention of using the smart card reader. Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues,
Rotimi, go back to your seat. Rotimi, Babangida, go back to your seat. Don't suffocate the chair. Rotimi.
Mr. Chairman, if we look at subsection 3 is explicit. You either accredit with a card reader, smart card reader. If it fails, the next day, smart card reader. There is no reference to any other technological device. Leaving the technological device here now is to give room for manipulation of intention. That's my submission. Shagari.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Aminu Shehu Shagari. I represent Yabo Shagari constituency in Sokoto State.
Chair is for control, please. Dennis Ago. Please. Dennis Ago, you are making it. Keep quiet.
Mr. Chairman.
Are you a PDP or PDP? Honorable colleagues, please. Paddy.
Honorable Paddy. Deputy Whip, sit down.
Paddy. Honorable colleagues, please. Honorable colleagues, please. Honorable colleagues, thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me. Honorable colleagues, thank you for listening to me. Honorable colleagues, thank you for listening to me. Now, let me say this. Let me say this. It might look rancorous as the way we are doing, but I want to assure you that this is an item we have to pay particular attention to. I've read some of these laws. Let me point out something to you why you must not play with what we are doing now. We have had 2 major elections in Nigeria today, and you have seen the difference between the announcement of results and declaration of results. 2 major elections. Faleke was involved in one. We just done one in Osun. There is a tremendous difference, difference, I'll call it, between announcement of result and declaration of results. It has made some people wept. It has made some people laugh. And so this one too is very, very important. And all of us think it's just a simple thing. And I keep reminding those who do electoral laws that when you don't pay attention to these little things, we shot ourselves in the leg. So this is important. Let us be careful. I'm just to collect your opinion. But let me know the opinion that I want to collect. But I know this one is very, very important. Very, very. So let's listen to Shagari now. And finally, I will listen to Jimmy, Soba, and Tinda.
Honorable colleagues, please may I refer you to page 16. I'm sorry to take us forward, but if we are talking about consistency in legislation, I feel it's pertinent, or rather, it's good to look at page 16, please. I know, that's why I'm apologizing. We are talking about consistency in legislation. That's what we're talking about. Honorable Sadiq said it's good to maintain consistency in legal drafting. So I'm looking at the document as a whole. So that's why I'm saying page 16, if you look at it, page 16, if you look at 6 sub B, it says the smart card reader or other technology device used for accreditation of votes in each polling unit where the election is disputed, or the purpose of obtained accreditation data directly from the smart card reader or technology device. Now, why I want to, coming back to the issue at hand, I know that this is consistent in the act. It's being used. You see, in legal drafting, you cannot just be very rigid. And here, I want us to underline the word any other technology device that may be prescribed by the Commission. It is not just saying any technology device. It has to be prescribed by the Commission. So that is different. So that allays the fears of my colleagues that any other technological device can be used. No, it's only the one prescribed by the Commission to be used for the election. So I urge my colleagues to please allow this to let us carry it as it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What I want to say, sir, has been said by Honorable Shagari, and I want to emphasize more on it. We all agree that the mode to be used is a card reader. But in the event that the card reader doesn't work, it says that the presiding officer shall use a gadget in the manner prescribed by the Commission, which means that there's going to be a guideline to be set by INEC that in the event that the card reader doesn't work, A, B, C, and D procedure must be used to select any other means of technology to be used. It is not a discretionary thing. It's not complicated. Yes, it's part of the law. It says in the manner prescribed
in the manner prescribed by the Commission. He says in the manner, sir, he says in the manner to be described by the Commission. So it means that the Commission shall come up with a guideline.
We are now at the mercy of the Commission. Of course, we have to get it. Honorable colleagues, again, let me remind us, let me remind all of us that again, Jimmy just mentioned something that is important now. He said guidelines. But as far as I'm concerned, having faced an election tribunal for 3 years and 8 months, court does not recognize guideline in Nigeria. They don't. It's not. So, Soba.
Thank you. Listen now. Order. Ekiru, order. Honorable Ekiru.
Grace of peace.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, in the interpretation of our laws, there is this concept of necessary intendment. What was intended by the legislators when they were making this law? The mischief that is 60Q is simply to do away with manual accreditation. And when you look at this provision, when it says card reader or any other technological device, that is to say that the card reader itself is a technological device. So it now says or any other. The way these technological things evolve, today it is card reader, tomorrow it may be another name. It is just like, excuse me. It is just like when you are talking about vehicle. You don't go about talking about Peugeot, Volvo, or Mercedes-Benz. It says technological device. The card reader is a technological device, and it now says or any other technological device. The whole mischief in 60Q is to avoid this manual accreditation, and this is just exactly how it is. But again, I want to support what Honorable Sadiq said, that in order to be consistent, all we need to do is to transport that provision in subsection 2 to subsection 3, so that it will cover the use of other technological devices. When we do this, then we have solved the whole problem. This is it.
And it is term of 16B.
Exactly. That is to tell you that the carrier is a device. It's a technological device.
Honorable colleagues, we have exhausted the line. We have exhausted the line of argument. We have exhausted it. That's Sadiq. That is where I normally have problem with you. Chinda, you are okay. Are we for the first time? I don't do it. I for the first time put the question again. I don't repeat question. But this time I'll take my ruling, and whatever ruling I take, those in support of the provision of subclause 2, including any technological device, to say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Now, honorable colleagues, honorable colleagues, let me now mention this. Honorable colleagues, honorable colleagues, don't let us the beauty of what we have just done be lost on us. What we now say, what I will now add, is that in subsequent provisions where you have smart card reader, the word any technological device should be added. That is it. So let's go now. So clause 16 carry 17. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
You have no right to go. Sit down. We have no right to talk, sir. Sit down. Sit down. Be a good sportsman.
You are leaving now. The day you have a report to be considered, member will leave. So take your seat. Take your seat. Take your seat. Just sit. Ambassador.
Honorable Namdas, take your time. Go back to your seat. Honorable Boma, Honorable Okore, go back to your seats. Honorable Boma, come back to your seat. Linus Okore, go back to your seat. Linus Okore, go back to your seat. Boma Goodhead, go back to your seat.
Simon.
Sir? Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to draw our attention. I'm on page 11. Please, what has been happening in this session is that our bills are being rejected on account of drafting. I want to point at two. It's very, very clumsy drafting. 17.2. It says, where the appellate court, it flows from one, where the appellate court determines that a candidate was not validly nominated, the elected candidate shall, notwithstanding the contract of the court, remain in office within the period for which an appeal may be filed, and shall not be sanctioned for the benefit derived while in office, pursuant to this section, until the appellate court determines. This is very clumsy draft. Now, please, let me say it now. Now, if you look at
17.1, that new insertion is beautiful. It means where the nomination is invalidated and an appeal is filed, the candidate, if only you listen, the candidate will remain in office until the appeal is determined. Now, number 2 is to save the candidate who ultimately loses an appeal from returning earnings while in office. So it's supposed to be like this. Where the appellate court determines that a candidate was not validly nominated, such a candidate shall not be sanctioned for the benefits derived while in office. Full stop. Simple. That's what I wanted to correct. Yes.
It's the same thing, but as a lawyer, he's giving a better option. But what he said is the same thing with what is on the amendment. Yes.
Please, let me have another sheet.
Thank you.
I've made a mistake.
I'm concerned, I don't think there's anything clumsy about this. What is clumsy about it? It's only using a certain method to achieve what want to achieve. No, you can only tell me whether to take his option or take care. I don't want any discussion. No, you can't have a contrary opinion if you are not going to amend this. Are you going to amend this? No. If you are not amending, you can't have a contrary opinion. The question now, there is Simon has proposed an amendment. It's more elegant. So do you want us to take a question on it? No, let's agree on this. Don't let us run comment on this. It's not fair. He has shown us something. He said it's clumsy. No, I don't want comment. It's not important. Okay, Simon, propose your amendment. Let me see if there's a seconder. Propose your amendment. Please take your seat.
Order. Order.
Yes, thank you. Simon Arabo is my name. I propose that clause 17 to be deleted, and in its place, a fresh clause reads thus: where the appellate court determines that a candidate was not validly nominated, such a candidate shall not be sanctioned for the benefits he derived while in office. I so move.
Mr. Chairman, may I stand to second this well-founded motion? I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So 18, Abiante.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I remain our Gene and beg that I think that section 18, clause 18, sorry. I think that this amendment, having suffered several rejections and reforms, would have required that we take Mr. Chairman, I should be protected to say what I want to say, Mr. Chairman. It's important we know that what we are doing is very serious. So, clause 18, 1B, as retained, states that the use of electronic voting machine for the time being is
prohibited. That is retained. 1B, section 18(1)B, retained. The use of electronic voting machine for the time being is prohibited. Then if you go to page 12, then if you go to the new clause, that is 2. The Commission shall adopt electronic voting in all elections or any other method of voting as may be determined by the Commission from time to time. I think that this is rather contradictory.
He has not moved it. Abiante, so move a motion. What do you want now?
I propose that we delete 1B so that you can have enough latitude to accommodate the amendment.
Honorable colleagues, please let us first of all always listen to whoever that has taken the floor. What he is saying now is that the provision of retaining electronic voting prohibited is in contradiction to electronic voting is as adopted. So he wants us to delete that 1B and leave the 2. Is that what you are saying? The 2 you want us to leave now is that the Commission shall adopt electronic voting in all election or any other method of voting as may be determined by the Commission from time to time. So, Soba.
Chairman, you see, when the operational word here is shall, there is no how it can be said the Commission shall adopt electronic voting, and then you now come to say or any other. It can, then that means we have to go back and say the Commission may, so that it will satisfy the requirement of the provision. But if you say shall, then there is no other option.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to remind us, when we are considering this bill, if you recall, we differentiated between accreditation and voting. That was what led to this section. We said for voting, it should be manual, that we are not ready for electronic voting now, or we are not prepared as a country for electronic voting. But that accreditation must be by technological device, that's card reader. I think that's why it appears that there is a conflict. But if you differentiate between accreditation and voting, you will find out that there is no conflict. Because this one is talking about voting, that voting should be by manual method.
Left out completely. Okay, we are already there, Johnson. We are already there. So his amendment is that Abiante's amendment is that we should delete that subsection B of the Principal Act, which is retained in the bill. But while we do that, we should take cognizance of the fact that the word shall in 2 should be replaced by may. Don't just say no. Don't just say no. You must present a position. So any seconder to Abiante's motion to delete the first one, Patterson. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Now the amendment Soba made that the word shall in the new provision of subclause 2 be replaced by may. Sadiq, second.
I second the motion assembly moved by Honorable Soba. I second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Henceforth, it is your own interest to let us pass this thing. I have an important meeting that borders on your welfare, so let us pass this thing by 2. It's true. It's true. It's true. The Minister of Finance is waiting for me. It's true. So
we can adjust it.
Plus 24 carried, 25, 26, 27. Okay, 27, Pajok. Shagari, you are my friend. What is the problem?
Mr. Chairman, please.
23, page 17, sir.
If you don't carry proper.
I was supposed to make my observation before Honorable. 23, my quarrel with subsection 2 is that there is a proviso that was put there that negates the purpose for which the section was drafted. If you allow me, an election conducted at the polling unit without the prior recording in the forms prescribed by the Commission of the quantity, serial numbers, and other particulars of result sheets, ballot papers, and other sensitive electoral materials made available by the Commission for the conduct of the election shall be invalid. This, I have no quarrel with this. But then they now went on to add a proviso, which I feel negates it. They say, provided that the election should not be invalidated where it is determined that the extent of non-compliance is not such that would affect the integrity of the process at the polling unit. I don't see how it cannot affect the integrity. If you don't record these things as stated in sub 2, that they should remove the proviso, period. Because it's a polling unit. We are not talking about the whole election, no. We are talking about that polling unit. If they don't abide by the law, it should be cancelled, period.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, sir, in all election cases, there is what is called substantial compliance. Substantial compliance. And courts have taken that to Supreme Court decisions are there. The law does not concern itself with trifles. That is what is called de minimis non cura lex. Decode it. Sir, there is what is called substantial compliance in all election cases. So if the election, if the results of the election, the total number of votes in that election will not matter, will not be so material enough. The courts usually it's the number. It's the number, sir. That's why. Well, if don't. Okay.
Please take your seat. Your argument is not correct. In an election, there are just two most important sensitive material. And the two determine everything about election. The result sheet, which is from ECATA, is the most important. Then the ballot paper. And there's no way you can talk about ballot paper without the serial number. So anything that talks about the two is important. So if we are going to go with Shagari, let us agree. If we are returning the provision, let's take votes. But don't put the argument. So any seconder for Shagari's amendment, Simon.
Simon, I rise to second the... Yes. I second the amendment proposed by Honorable Shagari. I so second.
The Shagari's amendment is that we should stop at the word invalid. So, those in favor of that amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we have clause 27, clause 27 carried. Now it's 27 then. I'm adjourning the consideration of this report tomorrow. we start from clause 27 tomorrow. So leader, let's move to plenary. You and I go to the same meeting, so no comment. I don't revert back to plenary. So we have approved clause 26. We go 27 tomorrow. We should have finished. This other one is important, unless you don't want me to go. So, leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry, I just wanted to get clarification, Mr. Chairman, about the process we are adopting. Mr. Chairman, I believe that this was a joint report. I want to know if this is going back to the Senate, if there are discrepancies. They passed it, and we're looking to do this thing with dispatch. They will have to do conference committee. I just wanted to clarify that. On that note, Mr. Chairman, I move that this House revert back to plenary.
Mr. Chairman, I so second that the House revert back to plenary.
The House hereby reverts back to plenary to report progress. Please, for those of us who stay behind, bring your report tomorrow. It's important. Bring your report tomorrow. Chinda, you must be here tomorrow. I'm deliberate about the word must. And bring your report. Honourable colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to amend the provision of Electoral Act number 6 of 2010 and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 16, approved clause 17 as amended, approved clause 18 as amended, approved clause 23 as amended, approved clauses 24 to 27, and adjourned further consideration to next legislative date. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to establish the office of the Auditor General for the Federation, provide for additional powers and functions to the office, establish the Federal Audit Service Commission, repeal the Audit Act 1956, the Public Account Committee Act Chapter P35, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and Public Account Implementation Tribunal Act Chapter P36, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Federal Audit Service and for related matters, and approve the recommendation of the Conference Committee. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that this House will adopt the reports of the Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Deputy Leader.
I like to second that the House do adopt the report of the Conference Committee of the Whole.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader.
Speaker, I rise to move that this House stand adjourned till tomorrow, 11 a.m. I so move.
Deputy Leader.
I rise to second that the House adjourned to tomorrow, 11 a.m.
The House stands adjourned till tomorrow, 18th of October, Wednesday, 11 a.m.